So we continue with the last sequence of posture to strengthen the body. Much more challenging than the first two sequences. Always keep in mind that you should not force, and depending on your personal body requirements, make sure you can't injure yourself while practicing. If in doubt, you can always contact me through the link given with the videos, and I'll guide you to say don't do this, do that, and so on, so that you don't feel lost in front of your video. We'll strengthen here the upper body, shoulders, pectoral, back, the legs and the hips at the same time. It's quite complete, not that easy, but remember to stop where the body tells you to stop. If you go beyond your limits, you will not practice correctly. So all the wording here is quite important to follow. Let's begin. With your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Curl your toes and then straighten your legs to come into the plank posture. So your feet are 1 foot apart and the hands shoulder width apart. And here exhaling, we bend the elbows, but we keep the elbows in touch with the chest. So we don't go too much down. Inhaling, look up and then push onto your hands. Engage the perineum and lower abdomen to protect your back. And exhaling, come into downward facing dog. If your heels are not touching, it's okay. If your knees are bent to start, it's okay. Take a few breaths here to rest. And exhaling, look in between your hands and bend your elbows and bring your elbows in touch with your chest. Legs are straight and push up inhaling. You can stay there, but make sure there's no pinch in the lower back, or go into downward facing dog straight away. And try to straighten your knees a bit more this time to bring your heels closer to the floor. Take a few breaths, grounding your hand flat into the mat. And inhaling, look in between your hands. And last round for us, bend your elbows with your chest. Inhaling, look up, push up. And exhaling, downward facing dog. You can continue if you wish to continue, or just simply bend your knees and bring your knees in touch with the mat, and bring your sit bones in touch with your heels, and come into the baby pose, Shashankasana, to just rest here after the strengthening exercise. So for the next exercise, if you have knees a bit painful, don't force. You can go all the way to the pain, but if you start to feel the pain, just stay there and back up slowly, inhaling. We start with the feet parallel to each other, hips width apart. So not too much, not too little, so that your legs are perfectly vertical and parallel. Inhaling, raise your hands in front of you at the shoulder level, and then come high on toes. And exhaling, slowly bend your knees, maintaining your heels up and bringing your sitting bones slowly in touch with your heels. If you feel breathless, take 1 deep breath there. It's important to not strain your legs. And then, as slowly as before, inhaling, you come all the way up. The slower, the better. We are strengthening the legs and working onto the knees. Exhaling, bring the heels down and the hands down. Important here to take a few breaths for you to normalize the breathing, because it's quite demanding as an exercise. Before going into the next exercise, which is very similar to this with a little variation. Bring your feet together once ready. And inhaling, raise your hands sideways at the shoulder level. Raise your heels off the mat at the same time, rotate your palms up, finish raising your hands and put your palms slowly in touch with your head, pulling the elbows backward. Engage the lower abdomen well and the perineum well. Take a deep breath in and breathing out, slowly bend at the knees. Same as before, intention is to bring your sitting bones in touch with your heels, working on your legs consciously. And take a breath if necessary here, sometimes it is. And after the exhalation, engage the perineum and the lower abdomen, and inhaling, slowly move up. All the way up, and then extend your hands, arms, before exhaling, and slowly bring your hands down, rotation at the shoulder level, and bring your heels down at the same time. And normalize your breathing again. It is important here. These are very demanding exercises, breath-wise. The last exercise will be with your heels close to each other and your feet slightly open, depending on how you feel. Inhaling, raise your hands at the shoulder level and come high on toes again. And exhaling this time, we'll spread the knees apart slowly. And the more we spread, the more we go down. On one exhalation, if the need is to take a breath at that point, take a breath, it's okay. And then exhaling, keep moving down until your sitting bones are in touch with your heels. Always work with the breath, don't strain your lungs, it's not the point here. And then inhaling, we slowly move up and we slowly bring the knees closer to each other. And the more we bring them close to each other, the more we straighten the legs. And exhaling, slowly bring the hands down and the heels down. Separate your feet there and take a good rest before jumping to the next exercise. For the next exercise, it's a balancing one. So important to first test the balance on one foot, maintaining the leg straight and making sure that you can actually balance for that exercise. If you cannot balance, you start here with your hands at the shoulder level to maintain the balance and a straight leg. The whole leg is engaged as well as the perineum. And once you feel comfortable balancing, either shifting your gaze on a fixed point in front of you or on the floor, then we can try the next asana. Try with both legs, of course, finding the balance on both legs. And once comfortable balancing, you can try what follows. With your feet together, engage your perineum and your hands freely hanging by the side of your trunk. Inhaling, raise your hands all the way up, rotate at the shoulder level and join your palms and fingers overhead. Keep your gaze, remember, on a point to be balancing. Then exhaling, balancing on the right foot. You will bend, maintaining your body in one line until you can eventually be horizontal. If it's difficult for you because you feel the knees shivering, move up a little bit. Don't go too much low and try to keep that knee straight first. The body being in one line is more important, so always look at your hands in front of you, and then it's easy to maintain it in one line. Here, important to put that hip down and to not shift and maintain the hips even. If you lose balance, don't worry, it's difficult the first time. Inhaling, moving up, and exhaling, taking a rest. So I remember the key points. Even hips, very easy to shift your hips here, but it doesn't work the same on the hips, and it doesn't strengthen your legs the same thing. Body in one line, we start from one line, and we maintain it in one line. If you can't go all the way down, it's okay. Stay there and work here. There's already a lot to do. Then work on the opposite leg, inhaling the hands up, looking at your hands, or taking a fixed point with your gaze for the balance, and exhaling, slowly moving down. Keep breathing deeply, stay there, exhaling, push this hip down, yes. Engage the perineum well, it's a key point to the balance. Keep breathing until you feel like you may lose the balance, and then inhaling, slowly move up. Exhaling, hands down. Separate your feet and relax. Good. We're ready for the next one. Separate your feet, maybe a little bit more than your hips, and maybe like the mat width apart, more or less. Inhaling, expand your chest up and out, and exhaling, come into a squat. If you feel your heels are moving off, stay there and work there. But if you can go all the way down until you're in a squatting position, go there. Interlace your fingers with your arms straight in front of you, and inhaling, move your hands up. Look at your hands. Exhaling, let them down suddenly. Inhaling, moving up, and exhaling through the mouth, moving down. Inhaling, moving up, And exhaling down. You can go up to 5 or more. And then, after the last one, exhaling. Interlace your fingers the opposite way to work symmetrically. And then look at your hands and inhaling, moving up. Exhaling down. If the heels are a bit off the ground, you can put a mat under your heels. But make sure the perineum is strong. Keep moving up and down. Last one, keep smiling, inhaling up and exhaling down. Come and sit and relax. Good, we continue standing up with the same kind of exercise, but more for the hip this time. As you've seen before, it can happen that when moving down, the hips are a bit unhappy and then the heels are moving off the mat. So if it happens, it's good at that point to put one mat, one block, whatever you have, your heels on top of the mat and the toes where they were just before. So here, exhaling, we are coming into a squat position again. You can adjust the position of your feet there to be comfortable and make sure you can be balanced there. Bring your elbows inside your knees and bring your hands together. Inhaling, expand your chest up and out, and exhaling, press your hands against each other to separate your knees. Once you encounter the resistance of your hips and abductors, stay there and breathe. Important to breathe well, to let go of those tensions, not easy. The hip area is very long to stretch. Once you feel it's time to back up, inhaling, release the pressure onto your hands and stand up and take some rest here. Good. We continue on the floor now. Bring your hands under your shoulders and your knees a little bit behind your hips. Then come into a plank position. Your hips just slightly elevated so that the body is not straight, but not too much. Keep breathing here, maintaining your arms engaged, pushing your ears away from the shoulders and breathing well. If you feel pain, always back up. But if you can go up to 5, 10 or maybe more breath, just stay there for as long as you wish. When it's time and you feel you need some rest, bring your knees onto the floor and sit to take some rest here. We then continue with another set of exercise, which is very similar but different. We start from the same position, a plank. And then we will bring one hand under the shoulder and twist the trunk to the right. If it's difficult for the shoulder, and if it's difficult to keep the hips up, you can always come with one elbow here under the shoulder to work on the same position. If you're comfortable here, you can always come into some kind of variation, bringing one hand up, maybe one leg up, but make sure that you're not shivering and that you can maintain the posture correctly. Always good to be strong, more than advanced. Then work on the opposite side. Finding your balance onto the opposite hand, maintaining your hips quite high up, breathing well, and finding your balance. It is difficult the first time. There's a lot of muscles involved here. Remember to try where you're strong and stable and slowly go into the variations. Never force too much. Keep breathing and keep smiling is the most important. Then exhaling, slowly moving down and coming to sit onto your heels, your palms facing up. Just relax before performing again or moving to the next posture. Before moving to the next position, remember the shoulders are fragile as the knees. So we always want to make sure that you will be more happy after the practice than before. Never force. Start slowly. Don't try to go into many advanced variations when it's not time. One step at a time, and then you'll be much more happy. No pain, more gain. With your legs extended in front of you and your feet together, bring your hands into your back, a little bit away from your body with the fingers pointing away. Then inhaling, slowly raise your hips, bring your toes toward the mat and relax your neck backward. Keep breathing, contracting your butt and your lower back, squeezing the perineum to maintain the position. When you feel it's time for the shoulders or for any other purpose to exit the posture, exhaling, slowly bring your butt onto the mat and release the posture. With your hands onto your laps to relax and release the pressure on the shoulder, keep breathing until there's no more sensations fluctuating in your shoulders. Once you feel relaxed, you can move to the next posture, which is a simple variation of this one. We start the exact same way, but the fingers are pointing towards you this time, not pointing away as we did before. Position your hands well with straight arms, and same, inhaling, move up, your toes aiming at the floor, your head balanced back, and breathing, enjoying the stretch on your shoulders, the strengthening of the lower back and shoulders, and deeply breathing. A little smile inside is always better than a big face. And when it's time to exit the posture because too much tensions, and slowly bring your butt onto the mat and relax with your hands, palms facing up onto your laps until you're ready for the next posture. We continue strengthening the lower back. So slowly come into a prawn posture with your forehead next to the front of your mat. With your chin onto the mat and your hands palms facing down onto the mat. Your feet are extended and together. Inhaling, you raise the right leg up. Don't raise your hip off the mat. The hip remain in touch with the mat. Once your leg is up, internally rotate your knee so that the knee in the air is pointing at the opposite knee. Keep breathing there. Maintain the position for as long as you can. The upper back is relaxed, the neck is relaxed. Just the lower back and the leg is working. Then exhaling, bring the leg down slowly. And inhaling, raise the opposite leg. Same work. The hips flat onto the mat, just the leg is moving up. Maintain the leg straight, then internally rotate the leg. Keep the knee engaged. It's a good way to know if your leg is straight or not. And then the knee and the foot are pointing at the opposite leg. It engages the lower back more. Keep breathing until it's time to rest. Then exhaling, slowly bring the leg down. You can put one cheek onto the mat and completely rest there. We basically move into a variation of the previous one, both legs together this time. But for the success of this practice, you will need to bring your hands under the pubic bone. So both hands, palms against your body, and the top of your hand in touch with the mat. The arms are straight, and you can now bring your chin in touch with the mat. Both your knees together, both your heels together. And inhaling, raise both of your legs together, but make sure the legs are straight and the knees are not spreading apart. We are strengthening the perineum and the pelvic at the same time. The most difficult is the knees together, but the most important as well. You can move all the way up to a vertical position if you have enough strength to do so, but if you cannot, make sure you can keep breathing and keep smiling, otherwise no point. When it's time to stop, exhaling, bring the legs down slowly. Opposite cheek onto the mat. Bring your hands a little bit away from the body, beside your hips, and rest. For the last set of exercise, supine posture, laying flat onto your back. Keep your hands beside your hips, palms facing down, and bring your feet together. Make sure your lower back is well supported. If your back is a bit weak, always good to bring your hands under your butt to support your back while working. Otherwise, exhaling now, bring your abdomen inward and flatten your back onto the mat. Inhaling, raise the right leg up at a 30-degree angle from the floor, the toes pointing away. Keep breathing well, abdomen well engaged, back flat onto the mat. The chin is close to the throat as well to protect your neck from any hyperextension. Stay there from 5 to 10 breaths, depending on how you feel. It's always you deciding the feeling of the body. The most important is when exhaling now, bringing the legs slowly down to make sure the back remains flat onto the mat. Then you can release the abdomen. Take 1 or 2 breaths if necessary. And exhaling, flatten your back again. Bring the chin close to the throat and inhaling, raise the opposite leg up. 30-degree angle from the floor. Keep breathing and keep smiling. Always listening to the truth of your body to realize what you can or cannot do. No pain, more gain. Remember that. Exhaling, slowly bring the legs down. And take 1 or 2, maybe 3 deep breaths to rest, relaxing the legs completely, relaxing the abdomen completely, just allowing the sensations to come back to normal. Once you're there and you're ready to practice again, chin onto the throat, exhaling, flatten your back, and inhaling, bring the leg up to a 60-degree angle from the floor this time, the toes pointing away. So 60 degrees is a little bit more, that was 45, and breathe well there. Feel in the body what happens. It's always important to see, is my back flat, is my neck flat, which part of the body is working, and breathe into it. Bring oxygen and energy into it. And when you decide that 5, 6 or 10 breaths is enough, very slowly exhaling, bring this leg down, protecting your lower back and your neck. This is the most important. And inhaling, raise the opposite leg straight away to a 60-degree angle from the floor. Same as before, you decide how long. Keep breathing, but most of all, keep smiling. This is the most important there. And once you reach the number you reach with the opposite leg, 5, 6 or 10 as we said, very slowly exhaling, bring this leg down. Protect your back, most important. Then release the tension in the abdomen and back. Release the tension in your legs and breathe until you feel ready for the next one. And once ready, same thing. Draw your chin toward your throat, flatten your neck. Exhaling, bring the lower back flat onto the mat by bringing the abdomen in toward your spine. And inhaling, raise the opposite leg to a 90-degree angle from the floor. If you cannot go to 90 and have a vertical leg, that's okay. Work where you are. This is the most important, but this time the toes are pointing towards you, not pointing away as before, and we're stretching the back line at the same time we're strengthening the core. The upper body is relaxed, the opposite leg is mostly relaxed, and you keep breathing to your comfort until it's time to back up. When it's time to back up, bring more force and strength into the abdomen and slowly bring this leg back down on the exhalation, slowly. And once you reach out to the floor, inhaling straight away, raise the opposite leg to a 90-degree angle from the floor. The toes are pointing towards you, the rest of the body is relaxed. You keep breathing well. And go up to the count you feel like practicing today. Then exhaling, slowly bring this leg down, protecting your neck and your lower back, bringing more strength in the abdomen by slowly moving the leg down, and completely rest. once you're touching the floor. While they are resting for a little while, because this is quite demanding, for the last round of exercise, we'll practice both legs together. Bring your hands here to start, because it's much more heavy when the two legs are together. And protect your lower back. Unless you know yourself well and you're confident in your lower back, you can practice with your hands here. Otherwise, do as you feel like. But no pain, more gain. That will remain our mojo for now. The feet together, the neck flat onto the mat. Exhaling, slowly bring both of your legs to a 30-degree angle from the floor. The toes are pointing away, and 30 should be about here. Yes. Keep breathing. I will not mention the smile. There are 5 different smiles, so at least keep the smile inside if you cannot keep it outside. And keep breathing well, and hold it to your comfort. Nothing to be achieved. Listen to your body. If it starts shaking, you're a little bit too far already, in which case exhaling, slowly bring your legs down. You decide, in accordance to your body. Then rest a few breaths before bringing your legs this time to a 60-degree angle. Exhaling, chin in, neck flat, and then abdomen in, back flat. Inhaling, raise both of your legs to a 60-degree angle this time. Toes pointing away. Slow and deep breath. Make sure you're breathing slowly and deeply. It really helps to maintain the posture. And if you're shaking or if you feel it's too much, exhaling slowly, you bring your legs down. You decide. Your body decides. Take a couple of breaths there, just relaxing the entire body. And get ready for the last round. 90-degree angle this time. Chin in, back flat. Inhaling, raise your legs up, vertical and straight. Wherever it stops, it stops. Now, bring your toes towards you and keep breathing well. Keep the chin in to flatten your neck and not hyperextend it. Keep the perineum engaged and the legs engaged. And if you can, bring them more than 90 degrees, but the sacrum should remain in touch with the floor. You can also stretch the back line, but maintaining the sacrum onto the floor and bringing your legs slowly towards you. Keep breathing. It's a hardest exercise now. We are getting tired. So exhaling, protect your neck, protect your back, chin onto the floor, no shaking, and slowly bringing the legs down. The chin almost touching the throat, to make sure that now the back is all protected, the whole spine. Once you're resting, bring your hands, palms facing up, the arms at a 45-degree angle from the body. And completely let go now. Keep breathing, keep smiling. Have a good rest. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for your efforts and taking care of yourself. I will let David and Nikita rest. They have been tirelessly working, and I would like to say thank you to the both of them. Those 3 sequences you've seen can be practiced in different orders depending on how you feel. Sometimes you may feel like doing the 3 of them. Start with the strengthening and finish by the stretching. But if you don't feel like doing the 3 of them together, you can practice it differently at different times. Just listen to the requirements of your body. It's the most important. The more you practice it, the more you'll enjoy the practice of surfing with David and Nikita. And that's the most important in this. So thank you for Ticket to Ride to offering you these sequences. And please, aloha, keep enjoying.